to be able to come back and represent after being a player in that national team today, it's almost like a dream.
Big time congrats in order for Christelle Résumé, who was named the head coach of the Ivory Coast national team back in October. And that was a bit of a pioneering moment because she is the first African-born women's basketball player to become the head coach of a national team. So pretty cool that it's somebody within the Saluki women's basketball program, and very, very happy for Christelle and can't wait to see what she does in her first event, which will be the Africa Championships. She'll coach Ivory Coast in that event in September of 2021. Good news also is she's getting a great opportunity, but doesn't have to leave us. She'll still be an assistant and fulfill her duties on the bench coaching for Coach Stein as they start their season against Eastern Michigan on Wednesday at the Banterra Center. Quick note, I know there are some people that are very loyal and listen every week, so wanted to keep you up to date on next week with it being Thanksgiving and our normal release date being Thursday. Enjoy your turkey, enjoy your football on TV, whatever you're doing for Thanksgiving. We will not have a podcast next week, but excited to share a little bit of a new concept coming up the week after Thanksgiving. But don't look forward to one next week because there will not be one. But anyway, here is Christelle Résumé on this week's Saluki Standards podcast. Hey, now that you're a big shot international head coach, can I still joke around with you, or do you have to be all suited up and businesslike?
I would say, especially with a big shot international coach, I'm still the same. We can still joke around, still ask me crazy questions. I think we're good.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were going to, big shot me the next time I saw you when we see you next week.
Not yet. Not yet.
We'll see how you guys do in September 2021. Maybe you guys win the thing.
Yes. That'll be different. Maybe I will deserve a big shot. For now, I think I'm just working my way there.
Well, seriously, congratulations on the news. That's excellent. And I know Saluki fans are really proud of you, and the staff, I'm sure, is really proud of you too. What was your initial reaction when you got the news that you would get this opportunity? He's been
conflicted emotions, I would say. It's something that's been in the works for a couple of years now. I've been approached by my federation, my basketball federation in Ivory Coast, by the former president, because now we do have a new president. So for a couple of years now, I've been approached by several people that work in the federation and have asked me if I would be interested. And I would say that I didn't feel like I was ready probably a couple of years ago, and the opportunity came back again this summer with COVID and everything. We had deeper conversations and things like that, and it felt right. It felt right. I felt like it was the time that felt ready, and we went from there. And honestly, the reaction, the support that I've received, I wasn't expecting that. I think it's been very overwhelming, even fun and overwhelming at the same time. So I'm really excited.
So there might have been an opportunity even a couple of years ago to do what you're going to do?
As far as the coaching, the head coaching?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. I would say a couple of years ago it was more on the assistant coach level that I was being approached. And then it was still interesting opportunity. Not saying that I didn't jump on it because it was the assistant coach. I would have probably have done it as well if everything aligned with my life and, with what I'm doing as well at SIU, and he did it at the time. So they came back and now it was the head coaching, which was a step even above what they were offering at first. So, it's been, I guess, a long coming for what people say that needed to happen.
What do you think changed within a couple of years that has you more prepared now than if you were to jump into it back then?
I think that with coaching, it's the confidence. You got to know your limitation. You got to know your strengths and weaknesses. I felt like, I knew just working with Coach Stein for so many years and being the business. But like I knew a lot as far as the basketball part of it. But, having a head coach is way bigger than just what people see on the court, the 40 minutes. It's a bigger job. And I think that I didn't feel like I had that portion, the off the court, I think, management skills. I didn't feel that I had it then or understood it like I needed now. So I think that was more my worries of feeling ready to handle the off the court situations, I would say.
The last couple of years as an assistant, did you kind of have it in your mind from a personal development standpoint? Hey, let me do some things. Let me put myself in some situations so I am ready the next time they call.
Yes. I would say, like, again, and I'm going to mention Coach Tan. Coach Tan's been a great mentor. I feel like she had put me in different position within my job over the years, 8 years. So to see different aspect of what, an assistant coach and a coach needs to learn. And I think that, yes, I had a lot of different opportunities and my responsibilities here at SIU to see the different aspect of the coaching responsibilities. So,
I mean, it's a huge deal to be a Division I college coach. There aren't that many people that get that opportunity, and you represent a lot of people when you're in that position that you are right now. But then you go to the international level. Ivory Coast is a country that has a population of 26 million people, and you're the women's basketball rep for that national team. Has that been overwhelming for you to think of it that way?
I think you made it more overwhelming just saying the way you said it. I didn't even think at that level of it is very overwhelming. I would say that some days it hit me harder than other days. They're like, whoa, this is a big deal. It is personally a big deal because that's my country. A lot where I started is where I started basketball. A lot of my coaches, my teammates are still involved with the game, and just to be able to come back and represent after being a player in that national team today, to be have the opportunity to coach the team, it's almost like a dream that you don't even think it would ever happen. And now it's here, and I just have to rise to the occasion. So.
Your first involvement with the Ivory Coast national team was when you were 13 years old, and you're a player.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure at that point you're not thinking, okay, I'm going to coach this team one day, right?
No, I did not think at all that I would be in that position today. When I was with the national team, all the opportunity that I had back home and playing with my national team were all dream coming true, because it's few people they had the opportunity to wear their the country's color and represent, and stand there and listen to the national anthem going before you play, and it is an honor. And just having that opportunity at 13 was already a big deal. Did I think that I would be one day coaching? No, not at all. I'm just happy that I had the opportunity in the first place. So it is. I'm still on cloud nine a little bit, to be honest.
When you think about 13-year-old Christelle playing for the national team for the first time, what do you remember about those early years?
Skinny legs, not knowing what I was doing, running around, just happy. My journey with basketball was really interesting, because I remember when I did get the letter, because you get a letter from the federation saying you are invited to the camp, because it's a camp first where we have, they would call the top players of that age meeting. And then from that camp, they will select the 12 or the team that's going to go to that was a big deal for me and my family. I remember how my dad was so proud. My mom, they were all excited. I really had started basketball probably a year before, if not 9 months, and really just started. And then the next thing you know, you are recognized nationally. So it was just, it's been a great honor altogether, to be called. And I mean, my memories, we didn't go to a tournament that year. I think something had happened and we didn't end up going to the tournament we're supposed to go. But just the preparation, going for the camp, being selected and do those practices and wearing the uniform, it is all things that you can forget. It stays forever.
You were on several of those teams over about a decade. Spanning from 13 years old through college and early into your professional time. Where's the coolest place you traveled when you were a part of the team?
We went to Tunisia. I remember that's when I first played with the senior national team, at age of 16. So I was one of the youngest, if not the youngest player in that team that year, playing with a lot of my teammates and also people that I play against in the regular season. So that was an amazing experience. Tunisia was beautiful. It was my first time getting to the northern part of Africa. And I think that was a moment that we couldn't forget. I mean, there's so many great experiences we had just going to Madagascar and travel through Nairobi and Kenya to get to there. I mean, it's just so many. I can go on and on about the places that basketball took me through.
You may laugh at this, but I think most Americans hear Madagascar and they think of the animated movie.
Believe it or not, that was kind of my picture before I went there. As much as it was a 9-hour flight from my country to get to Madagascar, but it is a neat country, beautiful place, different than where I'm from. I'm from western part of Africa, and Madagascar is kind of like south of us, so it's different culture, different temperature. It was a little cooler than what I was used to, but it was beautiful. It was beautiful, just different. Believe it or not, most of us was just thinking about the animated movie Madagascar before we got there, and it's definitely not what it is. But
no singing animals.
Definitely, I was hoping for that, but no, we didn't get to see that.
Ivory Coast has gotten international attention, certainly with football, with soccer. Didier Drogba is a big name in soccer from Ivory Coast, but what about basketball and specifically the women's game? How have you seen that grow from the time you were a child to now?
It had grown a lot. We do have some work to do. I mean, I don't think we're at the level of soccer, football yet, but basketball in general has grown a lot. I mean, it's the second sport after soccer back home. The women's game, again, it's a work in progress, in process from every country, everywhere in the world. It's a lot of work to do to get the women's game the attention that is needed. But it's definitely, like I said, it's definitely getting there. I think there's a lot of push from FIBA, which is like the International Federation of Basketball, to grow the women's sports in general and the women's sports in Africa. So it has been a lot of different things that's being done to get where it needs to be. So it's in the works. Hopefully we get there. But it's definitely better than when I started to play back then. So,
with you being half the globe away right now in Carbondale, and the team you'll be coaching far ways away geographically, the tournament is still a little less than a year away. But how do you prepare now, even though you're not there, and you do have some time to get things together?
Well, with COVID being something that changed the way things are being done all over the world, I think, a lot of things are being done digitally, Zoom, like we're doing right now. So it's the biggest thing is there is some things that I need to get in place as, my staff which would be possibly most people from my side will be from back home. So I will be able to work with them closely from here to get some groundwork done before I get there. So it's going to be a lot of working in a team setting with my staff to be able to start the vision and start the plan that we have. Again, like I said, it's going to be a lot of Zoom, a lot of internet, and a lot of things like that we have to set up first. And hopefully COVID doesn't stop us and we can do a lot of in-person training and things like that. So
what do you think your roster will look like? I mean, it was, you were a teenager that was native, still living there. I mean, is there a decent amount of United States college talent that is from the Ivory Coast that you'll bring back, or will it be mostly local players?
I would say right now we have a couple players here in the U.S. They actually have played some high level, which is called BCS. We have a lot more in Europe, play into the European, the French league that we have our eyes on. Definitely a lot of talent back home. Probably quite a few people that I might have played with the past. Maybe they were younger then, but the last African Cup that I participated, might have one or two players that still active playing. So we have a lot of, I think that we will have a lot of resources coming from different places, from Europe to here and back home. So we're looking at all those elements and trying to recruit now just to get the interest to come back and represent the country.
I had a chance to read Will Beck, Sports Information Director for Saluki Women's Basketball, his story on you on the SIU Saluki's website. And one of the interesting things in there is about how you have to brush up on your French, especially with your basketball terms. I mean, what are the differences between, I don't know, pass, dribble, and shoot in English and pass, dribble, and shoot in French?
I do bad. It's not a lot of difference when you look at the game. Now I'm like, trying to get things back in my head. I remember growing up, pass and go, we give and go was something that our coaches were saying, give and go. So, which is the motion. So it's a lot of English terms that are used in basketball in general, just because of the nature of the game and the origin of the game. So there's some words, a lot of the words, they will be English words, but it's going to be a little challenge. I would say at times I try to watch, right now I've been watching a lot of French basketball just to kind of measure where I'm at as far as my language, my level of language in French. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit of work, more than I expected, to feel more comfortable. And then all things fail, I just speak in English and we'll figure out. I mean, we're going to find a way to communicate regardless. So I'm not too worried about that part, but definitely for me, my personal, just to be comfortable, I just want to make sure I have that down.
I feel like I've heard you speak French when I've been on the road with you guys before. Obviously, we've talked in English. Are you bilingual, or do you have a third and fourth language that you speak too?
I just speak French and English. I was one of those kids that didn't try to learn more than what I should have with my family. My mom is speaking different languages, but now I just do speak French and English and pretend to speak some Polish for my Polish years, but I'm no good. I just pretend.
There's bilingual and there's trilingual. I don't know what 2.5 languages sounds like, but
I don't know. I don't even think that I can count Polish as a language. I know I can pretend a little bit, but not going to do too far.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, most of us are still trying to perfect English, so you got one more language than a lot of people. That's impressive. So Most people in Ivory Coast speak French. When did English come along for you? Was it when you came to the United States, or was it before?
Well, our school system, you're required. So when you start junior high, your first year of junior high, you have to have a second language. So automatically, everybody learns English. You got to have two more languages. So English is the language that is required for everybody, and then you can pick between German or Spanish for your third language. Through junior high all the way to the end of high school, you do English. Honestly, like I was told everybody, you learn in the classroom, you leave the classroom, you never use it. So it was more so that I had a lot of grammar. The writing part was, I think, that's what I was better at. Communication, speaking, not at all. On top of the fact that the English that we do learn back home is from England. So the accents are very different. When you come here and you have somebody that say, "What's up?" and you're like, that is not what I learned, and things like that. So I really learned to communicate here in the U.S. when I came to Illinois Central College. I'm a junior college, just being around my teammates, learning, their ways. I did a lot of cartoons in closed caption because of, just the basic English, and be able to hear and read it and be like, oh, okay, that's what they're trying to say with the accent. So that's really how I kind of learned to speak, until people told me that when you start dreaming in English, and that's it. And I started dreaming in English, and I guess that was it. My mind switched up.
What were the cartoons that taught you?
I was faithful with Disney Channel. I'm trying to think. At the time, it was like That's So Raven, those shows. I always like Hannah Montana. Phineas and Ferb was a little later on in life, but that's because I just like cartoons altogether. But this was it was Cody and Zach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my shows. So it was a lot of the different shows on Disney Channel that I was trying to catch and, have closed caption and try to follow along. And that helped a lot.
You mentioned your time at ICC in Peoria, and then you go and play for Coach Stein at Missouri. What was your relationship like with Coach Stein when you were a player?
You might have to ask you that question. I felt like I was pretty quiet. I felt like we had a great relationship. I felt like she entrusted me a lot as far as, being a leader in the team. And I felt like I had a lot of responsibility as far as the leadership position from her, and I never changed. It was a lot of trust, I think, and we had a great relationship. Any relationship that you had with your coach, I wouldn't say that I was the most vocal. They probably at times irritated her a little bit, but I think she trusted that I would get the job done, and that always been kind of our relationship.
When did she approach you about coaching for her? Was it while you were a player or after?
Actually, no, after. Honestly, it's not something that I ever dreamed to do until I actually ended up coaching at Illinois Central College for about a year and a half. And Coach Stein also did Central College, so, and her family is from that area. So she had actually ended up coming and coaching, being the head coach there. And that's when she had asked me if I would stay as an assistant. I'd already coached her for about a season and a half before that, and I jumped on the opportunity. She came on, took the program over, changed everything over, went from barely winning games to finish third in the country, go to the national championship, losing at the semifinal. So that was a great year when Coach Stein took over. And then when she had the opportunity to come at SIU, she then approached me and asked me if I would be interested to come along with her, and it was a no-brainer. And that's what I did. And 8 years later, I'm happy that I made that decision.
Has she finally cracked her shell? I think I know the answer to that.
We got days. I think so. I really do think so. I think I think she knows me well. That, I mean, it's not a lot of words that need to be shared or anything like that. I think that we have that connection.
Yeah. You're not the quiet kid anymore.
Definitely not. They had to make me be quiet.
Right.
I'm probably tired of hearing my voice.
I wanted to ask about your time in the NBA. You were with the New York Liberty for a little bit. I mean, what stands out about your time that you spent with the Liberty?
It was I would say, great and fast experience. It was great, but everything seemed so fast all the time. I mean, it changed from being, the basketball game, the game, to the business. I think that's when my mind had to switch a little bit to understand that this is a business. You're getting paid to play a sport that you like and love, but yet it's a job. I think that my time in the WNBA was a great time that I would not change for anything. Would I know what I know today? It would have probably been a different experience. But I think that it was quick. It was really fast. Everything just seemed like a blur. Like everything was just so fast. And you're in a season and you're playing games and the season is over. And then you got to figure out your next move. So it was a great experience. And I think it also helped me a lot in a lot of different things, opened a lot of doors for me in this business altogether.
Yeah, I got to think that's instant credibility when you're having a basketball conversation. Hey, I played this game in this country at the highest level.
Yeah, it definitely give you an edge in conversations. It definitely give people a low respect. Your opinion does matter then. And it's something that it's on your resume forever. They can never take that away from you. And I think, like I said, it opened, some doors for me overseas when I play professional overseas. And, even with my own country today, I mean, I feel like it's one of the things that they had in their mind, the back of their mind when they approached me, they had that experience. So it's definitely an experience that like I said, I will never change it for anything.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Becky Hammon would have been on the Liberty when you were there, right?
Yes, Becky was my teammate when I was there. Good old Becky, great human being, great person. She was a good mentor. She's definitely is a person that people see out there, very spiritual, very, very spiritual, but she definitely led our locker room with her spirituality and just very calm force on everything that she did. So yeah, I was fortunate to play along with her and be her teammate.
She's obviously broken down some doors specifically for women in the NBA, being an assistant coach with the San Antonio Spurs and being the head coach in Summer League and all those great things that she's done. Have you talked coaching with her since you guys have stopped playing and you're now in the same industry?
I would say no, I've not. I think the last time I probably a couple years back that we were in the same environment. I would say that I've not talked to her personally or stuff like that, but I'm so proud of her. I'm not surprised knowing the person. If it could happen to somebody, it would be Becky, just the way knowing who she is and how spiritual she is and how she handled business when it comes to basketball and how she was in the locker room and on the court and her work ethic and stuff. I'm just not surprised. I would say somebody else, I'll be like, wow, but Becky, that's just like it's the normal path for her. Like she's that transcender, from being somebody that wasn't even drafted to be in the WNBA and getting the team and does what she does and have the career that she had. That already tells you what kind of person she is. So I'm very proud of her. And like I said, not surprised at all.
Yeah, amazing. Just to kind of bring everything that we talked about together, just thinking about the conversation we just had, you've done a lot of things in your life that most people don't check the box on one of those things. Playing Division I basketball, playing in the WNBA, college coach now, the head coach of a national team. I mean, what were some of the hard things or struggles that you had to overcome to get to some of those points of success that you've now reached?
One, I mean, doing all this away from my family has been always something that has been hard at times. I mean, we have a very close family. We're very close with what we can do with, being so far away from each other. So that's been probably my biggest, I would say, biggest hurdle, not having my family there to witness those moments, playing college and have your senior night and, your family, close family is not there. We had moments, my mom had traveled when I played in Poland. It was playing for, championship game, and she came, and that was, things like that you don't get to share a lot with your family. I think that's been my biggest hurdle. I would say I would say just not having my family around, but at the same time, I think that I think my parents for how they raised me and how they put work ethic and working hard and being humble about everything that happened to you, and just that upbringing that I think has helped me get to where I'm at today. So I'm thankful for that, but definitely not having my family 24/7. Being there physically to enjoy all those moments. They are enjoying those moments. When I got drafted, they wasn't as excited, but I think it would have been different if they were there celebrating with me or, coming to the games and things like that. So I think that would be the biggest thing, just doing that, everything away from my family. It's been the hardest thing.
I think your parents' lesson of humility is definitely stuck, especially since you're still going to let me have a little fun when I see you and not big shot me.
I hope. If not, I know I'll get a call from my mom and she'd get me straight right away. Anybody in my family, that's the one thing about my family. We're pretty straightforward with each other. So anybody that just kind of deviate from what our values are, you best believe that you're going to get a call and get checked. So I'm got to be careful what I say and how I say it if I don't want to get in trouble. I still get in trouble with my mom, believe it or not. So
she's got the long distance discipline down, I'm sure.
Oh yes, she's a pro on that. She mastered it with all her kids being away.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on the most recent exciting news. And
thank you.
While we're talking about your life story, congratulations on everything, because it's been a pretty incredible ride for you up to this point.
Well, thank you. Just definitely appreciate it. Like I said, the support been amazing. It takes different things, the people that actually talked about what you accomplished, you realize oh, I did this. I guess it's cool. Like I said, I'm on cloud 9 and still trying to process. But I do appreciate the support and the love that I've been receiving. That's for sure. Yeah.
Well deserved. Can't wait to see you for a real live college basketball game next Wednesday.
Yes. I'm excited about that. I think that's what we need right now. We need a game. A game. You just got to have that one game that's going to get everybody going. We definitely need that as soon as possible.
Well, can't wait. Thanks for doing this, Christelle.
Well, thank you for having me. Are you going to have a special attire for the game?
Me?
Special holiday you'll wear?
Oh, shoot. You put me on the spot. I mean,
you asked me, I can ask you questions.
You did say that. I didn't know you were going to turn around this late in the conversation and spring me with one. But no, I've got a special Christmas suit.
Okay.
That actually got ruined at the Christmas party last year. So I might need to get a new one, but I don't have like a Thanksgiving suit or anything like that. I might need to work on that.
You might have to stop the store on the way here or something to get some, just a tie, like something just crazy. But you always do a good job dressing up. You always on point. So
hey, you find like a turkey tie or something like that.
I might.
I'll wear it.
Okay. Everybody hearing this now can back out if you don't like it. Can back out.
All right. Well, since you got your one question in for me, I think it's time to end it.
Yes. Everybody goes bad. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. See you soon.
All right.